Representing a public university here, so what I'll talk about is that basically let me begin with a background to the pandemic situation and the response given by the public university. Then I'll talk about, as we are now in a new context, as you see that language teaching in new context, what do we mean by new context? New context, is it the post-pandemic context? Although pandemic is not over yet, but unless or until we are going through a change time, okay, and it's continuing to be changing. So I'll talk about what measures or what adjustments the public university have taken so far and what needs to be done. Okay, as if you can remember that the first case of COVID in Bangladesh was identified on 8 March 2020, and on 17 March all the educational institutions were closed, and immediately afterwards some institutions transitioned to online classes, and in responding to that public universities a bit they lag behind because they switched to the online mode transition. It was rather slowly, okay? And they underwent several challenges, as you know, the challenges of digital devices, challenges for the lack of technological knowledge. But during that time, we did a number of researches. Research showed that the teachers actually, did wonderful job. They were resilient and they survived well. Okay, research also showed that there are limited institutional support, government support was limited, as you are aware that when we shifted to online classes, that means we needed to use data. But you see, if you can remember, at that time the data package rate was increased, and new taxes were imposed on digital devices. Okay. However, the research showed that through their personal initiatives, teacher fared that journey very much well. And now coming to the adjustments public universities made is that what happened in this new context, as when the universities were open, all education universities are open, the public universities came up with some recovery plan. Okay, what is the recovery plan? Number one was to reduce the semester duration. Okay, as you are aware that in public university the semester system is 6 months, 2 semesters a year, so it has been reduced to 4 months. And in terms of curriculum and syllabus, that was reduced to or not reduced because it was not officially done. So in some cases, you see that it was given, the discretion was given to the teacher. So some teachers reduced the syllabus, others didn't. So what actually happened is that it was pressure on the teachers. As I can see that some of my graduating students are there, so they are the, I should say, the victim, or they have the direct experience. They're experiencing it till now. And what happened there? The frequency of exams increased. What happened is that the exam they were supposed to give in 4 weeks, they are giving it in 2 weeks time. Okay. And what we have been, there is a critique in our context is that in the mainstream education system, it's exam oriented. We have been always critiquing that we are preparing our learners for exam. And unfortunately, that has been coming back. So what we are doing is that we are trying to cover the syllabus, preparing, giving them exams. So it's exam and exams and exams. So students are not getting much time to reflect actually what are they learning. Okay, so what we are trying to do is that to graduate them so fast. So that's one of the challenges. And what okay, right. So what needs, and there is another problem regarding examination. So public university really suffered from this kind of decision, to be or not to be. That means to go online or not to go online, to give online exams or not to give online exams. So therefore, although we continued classes for 2-3 semesters, online classes, but there is only one online final exams because there are lots of problems in organizing. There are different issues, so I'll not delve into that. So what needs to be done, I think, in this change context is that we actually need to rethink our curriculum. We actually need to divide the policy for online education system. Okay, and we need to actually what we have learned during our pandemic time. We need to cash in that. We cannot throw away that technology. You know that as if what public university is doing in my department, in my university, is that we are going back to the pre-pandemic time, as if forgetting what we have learned, something, you know, that thinking that okay, nothing happened in the meantime, right? Things are like this. But it has been said that that although pandemic is, of course, it cost us a lot, huge cost, but in terms of knowledge, in terms of technological knowledge, we always sometimes think like it. Had there not been any pandemic, we would not have learned technology so much. So it's been like in terms of technological knowledge, we are 20 years ahead of the time. So we need to cash in that. Public university has not yet been, you know, thinking in that line, right? So that things we need to, you know, consider, look into. Thank you very much.
Principal Bilal Bassam, please.
To think of the context that the pandemic created. We had to close all the rooms in the campus, and we had to open the new rooms in the virtual context. I will use the same word that the principal used. We were scared. We were scared, we were isolated, but somehow we showed that it was possible to reach the students and teach and learn. So the following question, if it is possible to teach in a virtual context, the following question would be, what shall we do so as not to lose the duties of human contact? And I'd like to answer to that question in terms of the new literacies. New literacies mean that we have to forget everything we learned, all the traditional tools, and only use the tools of the new context. No, new literacies refer to an appropriate combination of our traditional tools and the new tools that we learned after with the pandemic. And there is one more context that I would like to refer to, and I'm not sure if we have paid attention enough to that context, and it has nothing to do with the pandemic. How can we engage and motivate students in the duties and in the effort of learning foreign languages if we have so many online applications that will translate and will give us the words and even the complete text in 1 second? So many young people now, that they are actually wondering what's the point of learning new foreign languages when we have everything in the mobile phone. I think we should refer to that new context. That's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'd like to thank our panelists for their cogent and thoughtful comments.
From my working place, I might say that I am really fortunate that I am working in such a school. The pandemic closure started from 17th of March 2020, and we shifted online from 24th March 2020, and we completed one term, final term, online. Yes, that is true that first few days, 1 week or 2 weeks, the attendance was very poor, because early in the morning students do not used to wake up early in the morning, and even when they wake up they just get into the classroom and then they vanish. We keep on asking hello, say hello, or what you have done, what was your breakfast today, or something like that, share with us, but no one was responding. So what our school did, like we started giving marks on attendance, and we started sending attendance report to parents every week. And also not only attendance, like submission of assignments, like it was mandatory for the students to submit one handwritten assignment and also Google form. Like we used to make statistical report for every student per subject, per class, and we used to send it to students, to their parents. And also we started conducting frequent parent-teacher meeting with the class teacher and also with the subject teacher, so that there is no gap. So first 3 months finished nicely, and we were so happy that the transition took place very smoothly. Yes, there were some drawbacks because all the teachers were not equally techno savvy. So, but we got training. We are lucky again that we got online training, how to make Google Classroom, how to conduct classes in Google Meet, and also how to add students, how to remove students, even how to use the reactions. We use the Google feedback, oral feedback. We used to record our feedback and send it to students, keeping the parent in CC. So that the parent also can hear that yes, the student, even we are used to appreciate students for submitting some nice work, and used to send that copy to the parents to appreciate. So this is how actually we keep involved and keep on in contact with the parents frequently to get so that there is no gap. Though there was a gap because we were suffering a pandemic which comes after 100 years, so it really happens. And during pandemic there were so many pandemic issues, COVID issues, so some of the students were not attending, and some mental issues were there, which before pandemic or during pandemic we faced some of the problems like these, and now we are facing after pandemic, the post-pandemic, what situations we are facing now. We are getting hyperactive students in the classroom. They do not tend to listen to us. They keep on jumping, hopping, and throwing things here and there. And when we ask them, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Are you doing this in front of your parents? And they keep on telling us, yes ma'am, this is what our parents doing at home, so that's why we are doing in school. So now we are calling the parents. We have appointed pastoral care psychologists who is giving the counseling. We are addressing the needs of the students, and we are sending for counseling, as well as we are calling the parents and giving individual sessions with them, so that the social and emotional well-being is well cared, so that there is no gap. Because this is true that earlier we used to go to doctor for medicine or surgical or something else, but now the psychologists are in demand. Because after pandemic, the mental issues actually it's a huge impact on everybody. So we are actually taking a great care of it, and we are, in our school we have psychologists. They are taking care of the teachers also. They are taking care and also giving us the training how to deal with, how to identify that which students need the special care and how to deal with. Sometimes students, teachers are also under pressure, right? Because there is a huge pressure now. We have hybrid classroom, that we have the Google Classroom as well as we are taking physical classes. So we have to upload everything on time in the Google Classroom, and also we are posting pre-learning activities. Like before the students are coming to the classroom, they have to get ready. Like they need to be ready to learn. What they are going to learn in the classroom, they know beforehand. So this is how actually we are addressing and adjusting still. But yes, there are huge challenges and we are overcoming it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pat, for giving me the floor. I think Boshi sir has already covered most of the points, since we both of us are talking from tertiary levels perspective. And I'm going to focus mostly on private universities, what we are doing at private universities after, I would say, post-pandemic. I think earlier we used to involve our students only in face-to-face classes, like we used to focus how to involve the students inside the classroom. But now we are thinking about involving them both online and offline, like what they are doing in the classroom, and also when they are outside, how we can involve them more with studies. So that's why we are planning different different types of activities, project works in both in language courses and also in core courses to involve them more with the learning process. And now we are thinking about planning different tasks and activities involving higher order thinking skills. Earlier, there were scope for applying memorized contents, but now they need to think more critically. And initially, students also had, I would say, hiccups while thinking critically, because they were not used to think critically in their pre-pandemic period. But now they are, I would say they have got used to it in the sense that during the last 2 years, we had to prepare questions where they need to think critically. Because we didn't have any support for controlling plagiarism, and to control cheating. We didn't have any support of softwares. So that's why we had to prepare questions for different, with different tasks where they need to answer questions after thinking critically. And that's how they have become, I would say, used to it. And now we can give different types of activities which we couldn't do in pre-pandemic period. And also, like I would like to say that I would like to add that in terms of assessment techniques, there has been a great change because we are now using softwares for taking their project reports and also theses, and we are assessing based on their, as I mentioned, higher order thinking skills. And students also have found this the online materials quite flexible to use because now they can have more than their textbooks in their mobile phone. So we can also use different references during our class time that you can check it there or over, in any other books. They can get access to that very easily. And students, I think they have become more autonomous learners than the pre-pandemic period, because whenever we are giving them different tasks where they need to think critically, obviously they don't know all the answers. They need to do research on, search on Google. So they are getting easy access, which was not possible in the pre-pandemic period. So these are the things I would like to mention. So that's all, Dr. Pat.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Jahan. Our next panelist, Mr. Nazir Sabri, please.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Pat. So, I'm actually representing higher secondary level students. The students, I also agree with Professor Ahmed Bashir and Dr. Akhtar Jahan that scenario were almost similar. Let me take you back to the pre-pandemic situation where when we have to shift, it was a sudden shift from offline to online classes. So what the students were doing and what the teachers were doing to accommodate them. Now, at the very beginning, the students were very, I should say, interested to do online classes, and when the time passes, I found that they were struggling with a lot of mental issues. So the interest got less, and the participation in the language classroom were also have become very less. Now, even when we go to evaluation process, we find that most of the students they are writing the similar kind of things. So, which is one kind of I think challenge or problem that the language teacher had to face. Again, the teachers who were actually found it difficult to finish the syllabus and also keep the students motivated to do online classes. So they were some sort of struggling in that period. Now, when they were conducting online classes, most of the students were like in a hibernation.